Hello, and welcome to 20 Minutes with Jesus. Take a slow breath. Let your heart settle for a moment. Courage does not mean the absence of fear. It means choosing to move while trusting God. Let's begin. There are moments when God's invitation to move forward comes at the same time fear rises within the heart. You sense God's leading, yet your emotions hesitate. Questions surface, doubts whisper. The desire to stay where you are feels safer than stepping into the unknown. This does not mean you lack faith. Fear does not cancel calling. Fear does not disqualify obedience. Fear simply reveals that what God is asking matters. God never waits for fear to disappear before He invites movement. If He did, growth would never happen. Instead, He teaches you how to walk with fear present, not letting it lead, but not pretending it isn't there. Fear often appears when something meaningful is at stake. You may fear making the wrong decision. You may fear failure or disappointment. You may fear leaving what is familiar. God understands these fears. He does not minimize them. He meets them with reassurance rather than pressure. God's call to move forward is often gentle. It is not rushed. It is not forceful. It is steady. You may not feel excitement. You may feel resistance. Still, there is a quiet sense of direction beneath the fear. This is how God often leads, through peace that exists alongside uncertainty. Fear focuses on what could go wrong. God focuses on who He is. When fear dominates, the heart tries to calculate outcomes. It wants guarantees before obedience. God invites a different posture, trust before clarity. He does not reveal every step because faith grows through movement, not certainty. Moving forward does not require confidence. It requires trust. Confidence says, "I believe I can handle this." Trust says, "I believe God will be with me." God does not ask you to be fearless. He asks you to be faithful. Often, the step God is asking you to take is smaller than you imagine. It may be a conversation, a decision, a change in posture, or a willingness to try again. Fear exaggerates the size of the step, but God measures obedience, not distance. Fear may tell you to wait until you feel ready. God invites you to move while leaning on Him. As you consider this season, notice where fear is loudest. Fear often appears where growth is near. It resists movement because it senses change. God uses this moment not to shame you, but to strengthen you. He teaches you courage by walking with you through fear, not by removing it. As this episode begins, allow yourself to acknowledge fear honestly. Do not suppress it. Do not obey it. Bring it into God's presence. God is not disappointed by your fear. He is inviting you to trust Him through it. And as you learn to move forward, step by step, courage will grow quietly, carried not by confidence in yourself, but by confidence in God's faithfulness. Moving forward while fear is present requires a different understanding of faith. Faith is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to trust God more than you trust what fear predicts. When God invites you to move, He's not asking you to ignore fear. He's asking you to place it in the right position. Fear is a voice, not a leader. When fear leads, it magnifies uncertainty. When God leads, He brings peace even without clarity. Learning to move while afraid means learning how to listen differently. Instead of asking, "What if this goes wrong?" you begin to ask, "Where is God leading me right now?" This shift changes everything. God often asks for movement before emotional readiness. Waiting until fear disappears may feel wise, but it often results in stagnation. God knows that courage grows through obedience, not before it. Each step taken in trust weakens fear's authority and strengthens faith. Small steps matter. God rarely asks for leaps without preparation. He often invites one step, a conversation, a decision, a willingness to obey despite discomfort. Fear exaggerates the step, but God values obedience, not size. Moving forward with fear present also requires surrendering the need for guarantees. Fear wants assurance before action. Faith moves without full certainty. God does not provide every answer because faith is relational. You learn to trust Him by walking with Him, not by knowing everything in advance. This dependence deepens relationship. Fear often focuses on past disappointments. It reminds you of moments when things did not work out. It warns you not to repeat pain. God understands this. He does not dismiss your past. He redeems it. He teaches you that yesterday's pain does not define today's obedience. Moving forward requires discernment. Not every urge to act is from God, and not every hesitation is fear. Discernment grows as you learn to recognize peace beneath fear. God's leading is often accompanied by a steady sense of direction, even when emotions are unsettled. Peace does not always feel calm. Sometimes peace feels quiet and firm, while fear is loud and emotional. Learning to move forward means choosing to follow peace even when fear protests. God also strengthens you through movement. Strength is not given in advance. It is discovered along the way. As you take steps in faith, you realize that God meets you there. This builds confidence, not confidence in yourself, but in God's faithfulness. Fear often says, "You are not ready." God says, "I will be with you." This promise is enough. Moving forward while afraid also reshapes identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who avoids risk. You begin to see yourself as someone who trusts God. Each step reinforces this identity. Courage becomes part of who you are becoming. God honors obedience rooted in trust. He does not expect perfection. He does not demand fearlessness. He values willingness. Fear may accompany you, but it does not have to decide for you. You can acknowledge fear without obeying it. You can move while trembling. God meets you in that honesty. Moving forward also teaches humility. You accept that you need God's guidance moment by moment. You rely on prayer rather than confidence. This humility keeps your heart open and teachable. As this episode continues, reflect on where God may be inviting movement. It does not have to be dramatic. Often the most meaningful steps are quiet and unseen. Do not wait to feel brave. Move because God is trustworthy. Each step taken in faith weakens fear's grip and strengthens your ability to trust God again. Courage grows not by avoiding fear, but by walking with God through it. And as you move, gently, steadily, faithfully, you will discover that God's presence is more reliable than your fear ever was. Courage is rarely something you feel before you move. Most of the time, courage is formed while you are already walking. God does not wait for fear to leave before He calls you forward. Instead, He teaches you how to move while fear is still present, trusting Him step by step. Fear often wants proof before obedience. It asks for guarantees, clarity, and certainty. It wants reassurance that nothing will go wrong. But faith does not grow in controlled environments. Faith grows in movement, in choosing to trust God even when outcomes are unknown. God understands how real fear feels. Fear is not imaginary. It is emotional, physical, and often deeply rooted in past experiences. God does not shame you for feeling afraid. He does not tell you to ignore your emotions. He teaches you how to walk with Him through them. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is obedience in the presence of fear. This distinction changes how you see yourself. You stop measuring your faith by how calm you feel and begin measuring it by how willing you are to trust God despite discomfort. God often calls you forward at the same time fear speaks loudest. This is not coincidence. Fear often rises when growth is near. It resists movement because it senses change. God allows this tension to strengthen you. As you choose obedience, fear slowly loses authority. Movement reveals God's faithfulness. When you stay still, fear controls the narrative. When you move, you give God space to show up. You begin to notice how He meets you in the step itself, with peace, provision, wisdom, or unexpected strength. God does not reveal everything at once. He often reveals just enough light for the next step. This teaches dependence. You learn to listen more closely, pray more honestly, and rely on God more deeply. Faith becomes relational rather than theoretical. Courage grows through repetition. The first step feels heavy. The second step feels slightly easier. Over time, trust strengthens. Each act of obedience builds spiritual memory. You remember how God carried you before. This memory weakens fear's grip and strengthens confidence in God. God also reshapes how you understand safety. Fear defines safety as control and predictability. God defines safety as His presence. As you move forward with Him, you learn that safety is not found in certainty, but in closeness to God. This realization brings freedom. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop delaying obedience. You stop believing that fear disqualifies you. God teaches you that fear does not cancel calling. You can be afraid and still obey. You can be uncertain and still move. You can feel weak and still be faithful. Courage formed this way is humble. It does not rely on self-confidence. It relies on God's faithfulness. This humility keeps you grounded and dependent on prayer rather than pride. God also uses fear to deepen trust. Fear exposes where you rely on yourself. When fear rises, God invites you to lean on Him more fully. This leaning builds intimacy. You learn to seek God's presence rather than your own ability. Movement also clarifies direction. As you walk, clarity grows. Fear wants clarity before movement. God gives clarity through movement. Each step aligns you more closely with His will. Courage also reshapes identity. You begin to see yourself differently. You are no longer someone ruled by fear. You become someone who trusts God. This identity shift is powerful. It changes how you approach future challenges. God does not expect boldness. He honors faithfulness. Small steps matter deeply to God. A quiet decision, a private act of obedience, a willingness to try again. These are acts of courage. God sees them and strengthens you through them. Fear may not disappear immediately, but it will lose control. As you continue moving with God, fear becomes background noise rather than a driving force. Trust grows louder. Peace becomes steadier. If today God is asking you to move, do not wait to feel fearless. Respond with honesty. Tell God you are afraid, and then take the step anyway. God walks with you. He strengthens you as you move. He meets you in obedience. He forms courage within you along the way. You are not behind because you feel afraid. You are becoming courageous because you are choosing to trust God. Courage is not found before the step. It is formed in the step. And God is with you in every one of them. Let's pray together. God, we come before you with honest hearts. You see the fear we carry, the hesitation we feel, and the questions that rise when you invite us to move forward. Today, we do not hide these feelings. We bring them into your presence, trusting that you meet us with grace. Thank you for being patient with us. You know how real fear feels. You understand the weight of uncertainty. You see the desire to obey, even when our emotions resist. God, teach us how to move while trusting you. We release the expectation that fear must disappear before obedience begins. Help us accept that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to trust you in its presence. Strengthen our hearts to take the next step, even when we feel unsure. We surrender our need for certainty. We release the desire to know every outcome. We release the pressure to feel fully prepared. We release the belief that we must be confident before we obey. God, replace these needs with trust. When fear speaks loudly, help us hear your voice more clearly. When anxiety rises, anchor us in your presence. When hesitation tempts us to stay where we are, remind us that you walk with us as we move. Give us discernment. Help us recognize your peace beneath our emotions. Teach us to follow your leading rather than our fear. Guide our steps gently, one at a time, without rushing or forcing. God, strengthen us in the movement. Meet us as we step forward. Provide the wisdom we need along the way. Give us strength where we feel weak, and reassurance where we feel afraid. Let us experience your faithfulness not in theory, but in practice. Heal the places where fear has taken root. If past disappointments make us hesitant, restore hope. If fear of failure holds us back, remind us that you are with us. If uncertainty feels overwhelming, cover us with peace. God, shape our hearts through obedience. Let courage grow quietly as we trust you. Let confidence form through experience with your faithfulness. Let our identity shift from fear-driven to faith-led. We choose to move today, not recklessly, but faithfully. We trust you with our steps. We trust you with our future. We trust you with what we cannot see yet. Thank you for walking with us through fear. Thank you for honoring small steps of obedience. Thank you for forming courage within us as we trust you. We rest in your presence now. Amen. As we come to the end of this episode, hold this truth gently in your heart. God does not wait for you to feel fearless before He invites you to move. He walks with you as you learn to trust Him through fear. Every step taken in faith matters more than how confident you feel. You are not behind because you feel afraid. You are not weak because you hesitate. You are growing because you choose to trust God anyway. Fear may still whisper as you return to your day. That does not mean you have failed. It means you are human. Each time fear appears, you have a choice. Not to eliminate it, but to place it in God's hands. Movement does not require perfection. It requires willingness. God honors small steps, a quiet decision, a gentle act of obedience, a willingness to move forward even when emotions resist. These are not small to God, they are signs of trust. As you continue walking, remember that courage is not something you gather in advance. It forms as you walk. Each step strengthens faith. Each act of obedience builds spiritual memory. Over time, fear loses its authority and trust becomes steadier. God's presence goes with you. He meets you in the step itself. He provides strength as you move. He guides you gently along the way. If today you feel uncertain, stay close to God. If today you feel encouraged, remain humble. If today you feel tired, rest in His presence. Every posture is welcome in this journey. Let trust lead more than fear. You may not know what lies ahead, but you know who walks with you. God is faithful. He does not abandon those who trust Him. He does not withdraw when fear appears. He strengthens you through it. As you move forward, carry peace with you. Let it guide your decisions. Let it calm your thoughts. Let it remind you that obedience rooted in trust is enough. Thank you for spending this time here. If this episode spoke to your heart, continue walking this path of faith. Allow God to keep forming courage within you, step by step. Remain willing, remain trusting, remain close. God is with you, and that is more than enough.